Happy day, happy day. This your Ock True Jew, your bruh True Jew tapping in with you. We got some discouraging news coming out of Texas today. 70 miles southwest of Amarillo, Texas, we have what is being called the deadliest fire ever involving heads of cattle. That's right, 18,000 dairy cows were killed in what they are calling the deadliest fire in the country involving cattle. The explosion took place in Castro County. Okay, Castro County is about 70 miles, about 70 miles away, southwest actually, of Amarillo, Texas. And it's the second highest producer of milk in Texas. Okay, they produce so much milk that it's somewhere around 148 million pounds of milk annually just coming out of that county alone. Texas ranks number 4 in producing milk in the United States. Okay, so this took place in West Texas at the South Fork Dairy Farm. 18,000 cattle, which was about 90% of its total cattle, at 2,000 a head, at about $2,000 a head, were totally decimated and destroyed in this fire. Now, officials are blaming this unfortunate event on a malfunctioning piece of farm equipment. Okay, yes, you heard that right. A malfunctioning piece of farm equipment. Now, that makes me very curious whenever we have such a high price of investment, whenever we have something that costs so much to maintain. It always gets me how there's something very small that seems to be the reasoning cause for such great loss. Now, we know that we're in a very serious situation in the day throughout the entire nation in regards to supply chains, in regards to how we get our food. We just went through a situation with the eggs. There was an egg crisis about 3-4 months ago where everybody was complaining about not having eggs in their stores. And now we see that there could be a problem in the supply chain when it comes to milk and dairy products. I also find it interesting how when the chicken eggs were dwindling, that chickens were actually being killed. All over the country, there were chicken hatcheries and chicken facilities that were being caught on fire. Chickens were being slaughtered before they could produce, whether it was meat or eggs. And then all of a sudden, which shouldn't have been a surprise, we see a shortage on eggs for a moment there. And I feel the same thing is going to happen with the milk and the dairy products. They're really targeting our supply chains right now. And I think it has a lot to do with what we're hearing from folks like Bill Gates and others talking about the greenhouse gas effect and all of those sorts of things. You know, his main objective is to usher in a meatless society that's based off of his what's that movie from back in the day with the fake food, and people didn't realize that they were actually eating other human beings. Y'all remember that movie? Yeah, well, I see a situation happening like that right now. So what we have to do is really stay sharp. We have to remember that these people in high-ranking positions, high-ranking places, what they like to do is create chaos and then create order from the chaos. And this is a very chaotic situation. You see the plume of smoke rising up, and it's so amazing how now they can blame not only the cattle alive for being the cause of greenhouse gas effect, but they can also now blame the death and the fire from the cattle as being a reason that pollution is now going throughout the world and causing the greenhouse gas effect. Okay? And once they blame the cattle, then the cattle is what will be blamed all the way around and then removed eventually from production in order to divert or leave a situation like this from happening again. I find it to be very convenient for both of these things that had took place at one time. Well, you know, there are some very nefarious forces at play, which we should all know this by now. So what we got to do is make sure that we continue to prepare the best of our abilities and capabilities. We have to continue to prepare. We have to expect these sorts of things to happen, and we have to have supplemental products, supplemental resources at hand that will allow us to continue to move forward in a healthy manner without being too greatly affected. Like I always say, I hope that you all can eventually get you some land, get to a place where you can begin producing your own abundance of resource, your own abundance of products that you're used to using. There are other options and other sources for milk. You have goats, okay? Goat milk seems to be a pretty good supplemental solution if you're not able to have cow milk. Okay, so there are things that we can do in order to prepare for situations like this. This was an unfortunate situation. It seemed to have truly happened. So 18,000 cattle being killed in one time is not no small thing. I believe that's about 20% of the cattle that would be killed at any given day for meat products, okay? Now, these cows weren't used for meat, they were used for the dairy. So this is even a greater loss, because not only is the meat unsalvageable, but now they'll no longer produce any dairy products. Okay, so this is just a banger all the way around. But I'm sure that those greenhouse gas effect folks and PETA will have a field day with this, and I'm sure that this will help them push and lobby for further legislation to get rid of the meat. All right, y'all, this is your bro True Jew tapping in with y'all the only way I know how, raw, real, and uncut. Remember to give thanks always. Be blessed, stay vigilant. Most high mama, papa willing, I'll be back with another one. But until then, gone.